the very statement traditional masculinity is under threat today is begging the question.
Yo, so go watch my mutuals video there. It's really good. But let's talk about traditional masculinity, because lots of people don't understand what people like myself and my mutual here are offering men, or trying to invite men into, which is simply to be your fucking self. Like he says in the video, the idea of traditional masculinity begs the question that there is such a thing, and that it's been universal through time, that there is a standard of what that is. And it's just not true. It's a made up concept. And so the invitation is, if you find yourself frustrated because you can't live up to these masculine ideals, is to make up your own ideals. Figure out what feels good to you, what you love, what you want, what you desire. And if you want to call it masculinity, call it masculinity. And if the traditional masculinity police come in and tell you, well, that's not what it means to be masculine, fuck them. That's their expectation. That's their projection. That's their business, which is ultimately what a lot of these manosphere influencers are doing. Well, don't listen to women. They just blah, blah, blah. All of that is pure projection of their own insecurities, because they cling so tightly to this idea of what traditional masculinity is, and it's killing them. It's driving them insane. Because anytime anyone, whether it's like your parents or your teachers or anyone who has influence, even if it's culture at large, when they're trying to force you into a particular identity that doesn't align with you, it causes psychological damage. It causes anxiety and depression, because how sad is it to constantly try to live up to something that you don't even identify with? And just because you don't identify doesn't mean you are any less masculine. So the offer, as always, at least from my page, is freedom. What does it mean to be a man? I don't know. What do you want it to be for you? How can I be more masculine? I don't know, man. Be more yourself and call it masculine if that's what you want to do. We can work on figuring that out together. We can try and identify your values and the things that matter the most to you, the things that make you feel good inside of your own existence. Then you can develop tools to build from there your own identity. And if you want to call it masculine, you can call it masculine, because it's made up. And everyone's perception of you, whether they say you're too feminine or too masculine or too whatever, like that's their perception, that's their business. And I know it's easier said than done. I know it's really easy to feel shamed by other people when you're not living up to their expectation of you. And the way that we impose these identities onto people culturally make it really hard to develop boundaries against other people's expectations. But it is possible. I think part of the thing is when we over-identify with this idea of traditional masculinity, any attack on that, any pushback against that feels like an attack on ourselves. But it's not an attack on you. It's an attack on this made-up idea. This made-up idea that is hurting you. And the more you can disentangle your identity from that, your own identity from the bottom up, you can use whatever word you want to describe it. You don't have to live up to someone else's idea of masculinity. Grace and peace.